Just came back from Mecca about a week and a half ago. That was the closest I think that a place was to heaven. That's where I actually saw true peace. It's terrible. If I ever slip up to any extent, like I'm gonna go to the club, haram, like you can't do that. If I play a song, you're like, yay, hypocrite. Can't gamble, can't be around women. If you're actually gonna be a perfect Muslim, it's the worst stream content ever. Maybe you've seen the IRL streaming for the past couple months. It's extremely soul-sucking and draining. Those relationships with just influencers who are literally just living for clout, it's not sustainable long-term.
Who do you worry about most in that space?
I wish the best for Neon, man. I was there when he first started that relationship. I mean, I think it's one giant OnlyFans funnel. They just end up subscribing to his fake girlfriend's OnlyFans. Wallahi, I was offered $15 to $20 million to gamble on a certain website. 15 to 20 million. I got whispers in my ear, just take it, just take the deal.
It is nuts, isn't it? That is crazy.
Imagine you get a call like, just take it.
How has your relationship with Tate changed since the last time we were talking together?
It's a very weird relationship to have. I honestly don't trust anyone.
I believe in the period of time since our last interview, you've reverted to Islam. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I just came back from Mecca too. I'm also bald. I don't know if you noticed. That's like
I saw the video where you got it shaved.
Yeah, just came back from Mecca about a week and a half ago, and that was the best place that I've ever been to. I really can't. And I'm dropping a video on that soon. It's called Letter from Mecca. That was the closest I think that a place was to heaven. I would say that's where I actually saw true peace. Malcolm X wrote about it back in the early 60s. And I highly recommend anybody go. My Christian filmer went there and he didn't really have the same feeling that I got there, but that was a place where I genuinely saw true peace. Like you could see thousands and thousands. It almost seems like millions of people will come in a day to one place to pray, especially 5 times in a day. They'll all go to pray. And there's not that much security. There's not that many people that are there trying to patting you down in metal detectors, or that many police officers. Just almost like a rolling loud 5 times a day, and everybody acts orderly, and it's because they're all acting under the fear of God. And that completely shifted my perspective about where I want to live and what I want to believe in, and it really strengthened my faith. So I think for the future, that's where I want to go. As of now, obviously, people make fun of me, say that I change my mind frequently, but I'm always seeking new information. So I think now I'll build for the next maybe 5 something years in the West, and then I want to be the person who lives internationally. I don't think people really revert for that reason.
So speaking of which, what made you want to revert?
It was Malcolm X when I was like 13, 14. I read that autobiography, and actually seeing his trip to Mecca, it always inspired me because that changed his whole philosophy. He always had this idea that he wanted black people to self-segregate, and that integration was never possible, that peace was all. He had this really angry mentality because he came from the KKK was like knocking on his door. They were like smashing his windows. He came from a troubled past, and then Mecca changed his perspective, and he saw that people could operate equally and people could operate peacefully under God. That book really changed my life when I was younger. And it made me see what I wanted to do. And the way he was able to impact people with his words was really inspiring.
And what is it about the Islam religion that resonates with you?
The oneness. I think the word is tawheed. I don't want to mispronounce it, but tawheed is the idea of oneness, that there's one creator and that we are all part of one thing. We're all equal. We're all inferior to God. So it's this idea that we all worship one. Like we don't worship false idols. We don't worship men, prophets. We don't worship humans because we're all equal. It's not possible for us to, like the way you go to a concert, if you go to Rolling Loud, everybody is essentially worshiping the person that's on stage. They're screaming their minds out. They're losing. You look at the people in the crowd when you look at a concert, they're literally freaking out as if they're looking at an idol. And that type of worship is completely forbidden. That's the number one sin in Islam is shirk, is worshiping anything other than God. Even in Medina, for example, when you can go to the prophet's grave, they have somebody there specifically to deter people from, because people will like fall to the floor and like start crying over the grave. I mean, that's not, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to like pay your respects and then move forward, because we don't worship men. We don't worship anything that's equal to us. So I would say the idea of tawheed, oneness.
None of us are particularly religious. Can you like convince us of why we should become Muslim or even pick up any religion?
I think the structure and also determining right from wrong. right? Like you see all the destruction that's happening in the West, you know, people naked running around in the streets, or people like sleeping with animals, or you see, you know, the minor attracted people. Like when it comes to liberalism, they don't have anywhere to draw the line and say this is right and this is wrong. What decides that? The law? No. What morals? There's no specific guidebook telling you right from wrong. And if you ask a person, the person's not going to know, because then how are you going to judge somebody else's opinion? So you have to look at a specific book, a rule book, to decide, okay, well, is it right for wrong? Let me look at the book and say.
Do you think humans have an inbuilt moral system though, that they're born with, or they get from their parents maybe?
Yeah, but like a serial killer has a different moral system than yours. Yeah. So if we ever go by humans' idea of right from wrong, then we can go to destruction immediately, and then people start twerking in the streets.
But do you not think there's something innate? Like if we, natural selection would have bred out that want to kill each other. Otherwise, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Well, there were societies that they rolled heads down pyramids. Like that was accepted because they didn't have
why did they do that?
Because that one guy said it. They started worshiping a dude who said, "We're gonna roll heads down this pyramid,
bowling down pyramids.
Yeah, we'll bowl them down and give a sacrifice, and we'll do blood rituals."
Yeah.
So or like people, there's still societies in like rural Pakistan in the forest where they eat each other. You know, there's cannibalism going on because one dude said, we should eat each other. And like, okay, because that was his innate feeling. You can't ever go based off a human's innate desire for anything, because humans are imperfect, but Islam is perfect. Islam is a perfect religion. We all believe that. We all believe that Muslims aren't perfect. We strive to be the best we can be, but we will never be perfect because humans have free will. And when we have free will, we're corrupted by our own desires and we're all going to be corrupted to some extent, but all we can do is do our best to be as good as we possibly can be to serve God and to thank him for creating everything.
Yeah, I think it's cool for people to follow your journey of becoming a Muslim and, learning all this information. Obviously, a big talking point in the red pill community is the matrix. And obviously that's all about control. How do you feel about religion controlling you? Because that's the problem I have with religion.
Right. I mean, you have to decide for yourself, what would you rather control you? Would it rather be your own desires? Would it rather be the government? Would it rather be the influences that, they all worship Satan? Or would it rather be a religion that believes in God? And you can look at the ideas and what the Christianity, for example, or what it stands for, and it's all good things. What Christianity, Islam stand for, it's community, it's being a good person. There's zakat in Islam, for example. You're supposed to donate 2.5% of your wealth every year. Everything that it does, there's rewards. If you are being righteous, it tells you to tell the truth, tells you to do business relationships the right way. Things like interest, that's forbidden. You're not supposed to take advantage of people like financially. It tells you to be an honest person. Like everything that Islam and Christianity are about, they're all like very positive things. So I think looking at it is like, what would I rather? Because you're going to be controlled by something anyway, always. Humans are always going to be influenced by something because we're imperfect and we just exist here. Something is going to be feeding us, pushing us in a certain direction. So if people like follow the culture is run by people that worship the devil. That's a fact. That's not anymore a conspiracy theory. They are telling you every single day that this is what they stand for. And everybody in LA that you see at the most influential people, they actually do. They actually go to those rituals in the forest. They actually have.
So have you seen one of these rituals happen?
I haven't seen a ritual happen, no. But I know these people that go to the meetings with the cloaks and all that stuff. It's more common than you. It's more common.
And who's going? People we know in the public eye?
Some of them, yeah.
They are among us.
Yeah, so they're walking right next to you. Yeah,
so do you actually believe though that there is like a devil that they are worshipping and they're getting something out of it, or do you think it's all a load of voodoo rubbish?
No, there is. That if God exists, then so does the devil.
So why doesn't God just kill the devil if he's so powerful?
Because God, they need each other to exist in a certain way. There's no good without evil. There's always balance to everything. And it's all things that are prophesized. I can go deep into the Jaw and about how Jesus is the Messiah and he's supposed to come back and defeat the Jaw. It goes deep, and I'm not the perfect person to talk about this, but basically, like one exists. That's why humans have free. That's why we're imperfect. Is because we have the decision to follow good or follow evil. So you need to have both.
You said at the start of this discussion that you've bought your first investment property today.
Yeah.
Did you get a mortgage on that?
No, I bought it all cash, the halal way.
Nice.
All cash. I wanted to do it the right way. Obviously, you know, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to do business the right way. This is something that people never talk about because I just I'm with Rumble. You know, I'm continuing with Rumble, but I was offered 15 to, like, literally word for word, wallahi, I was offered 15 to 20 million dollars to gamble on a certain website. 15 to 20 million. I got whispers in my ear. Just take it. Just take the deal.
It is nuts, isn't it? That is
I know.
crazy.
Imagine you get a call like, just take it. Just come on.
But what's going through your head in that moment? Because part of you is presumably going, well, I'm going to consider it. It's $20 million.
Of course I did. Of course I did. But it didn't take me that long. I thought about it for a little bit and I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I took considerably less to stay where I am. Obviously, I love Rumble. Free speech is extremely important. Rumble's constantly under attack, and they actually stand for something. And, you know, Chris is a great guy. Rumble is, you know, they're really fighting the battles right now. I can go into detail about everything they're doing, but it wasn't that hard of a decision. You know, I believe in doing the right thing, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night properly. I think I would have nightmares, and I wouldn't be able to look myself in the eye the right way.
How do they look at investing in general? Is that allowed?
Yeah, investing's allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not interest, it's growth on a stock. That's not interest.
No, yeah, it's definitely
I don't think it's interest. It is growth on a stock. Growth on a stock is different.
I think people get confused because the people, like, obviously in your videos, you talk about compound interest.
Yeah, well, compound interest is the effect of the growth. It's not, technically, it's not interest.
I think the argument is that the company will be doing them things behind the scenes. So then when you're buying it, they're taking part in the action, even though you're not directly.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Companies obviously investing and, you know, having loans behind the scenes, and you're technically involved with that because you own part of the company.
I don't personally do any stocks. So, I mean, I have some stock from that was given, but I don't do that. So if it's a gray area, I'd rather just like stay away from it. But yeah.